John, what's your beautiful dog's name?
Well, this one is Nippy, and then the other one is Snuggly.
Nippy and Snuggly. I love it.
Yeah.
And what is our real name?
True?
Yes.
What is our real name?
Nippy.
Girish, are you speaking? I think you're on mute.
What is our real name? Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri
I think he might have a bad
Gurave Namaha.
Girish, maybe you could try to come back in. I think that's why we all sounded goofy.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, my friends, we have been discussing about what exactly is practice. So, we have 5 sutras on the practice. Abhyas, Vairagya, Abhyam, Tannirodha. So, Abhyas normally translated in English as practice. So, and the second word that used in the practice is dispassion. Oh, I remember a great story about dispassion. So then we understood what exactly is the practice. So what exactly is the practice? We got Tatra sthito yatano abhyasah. Tatra sthito yatano abhyasa. Whenever we have anxiety, I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of pain. I'm feeling sleepy. This mind believes too much in excess whenever we have a problem. If I say every time we meet and I say Lara is most wonderful, very wonderful. So one day I can promise that your mind will say, why this guy is praising Lara? There is something fishy. What did I say? We have to change that mindset. We don't want to believe what is best and good in our life. And we instantly believe our problems, our pain, our worries, and we constantly repeat it again and again. Are you getting it? Just think of it. What I said, yoga means a study. When you study yourself. You study yourself. Tatra sthito yatano abhyasa. So when the mind is constantly steady on my real nature through the mind, that is what is Tatra sthito yatano abhyasa. Tatra sthito yatano abhyasa. We have understood that part. Now comes you have those 5 sutras, what we did. Tatra sthito yatno abhyasa. Now comes the sutra number 14. So what is the sutra number 14? Satu dirghkal Nirantaryam Satkar Adar Sevito Dradabhumi. So now our master is saying, Patanjali is saying, what should be the quality and the quantity of the practice? Yeah, you see, in the Yoga Sutra number 14. So let me put it on the chat so that you have a reminder. So now you see, I have been practicing yoga for so many years, nothing happens, leave yoga. So Patanjali is answering that. Do you ever say that, what the heck, I have been hungry every day. Let me leave hunger. Let me stop eating. This is too much. See that? So I started with the same. Mind, do not believe what is good, better, and the best in our life. Mind is, there is a little pain. What is that pain? What is that pain? And then we get worried and anxious. Can I change this mindset? So now coming to this Yoga Sutra. Satu dirghkal nirantaryam satkar adar sevito dradabhumi. So now he is saying about the practice. The practice is firmly established if it continued for a long time. So I am not going to another referencing. That is the way. I'm taking a little deviation to make you understand the journey of yoga. So you take an example of the second sutra, Yogaschatta Vratti Nirodha. So what I understand, yoga is emptying the contents of the mind that leads to the realization of the real self, which is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Did Patanjali say in the sutra? No. So the cross-referencing is required. Why? Because we have more than 3,000 texts. But why we have to do we have to study 3,000 texts? No. We have to understand the essence of what yoga is, each and every word. Then chitta. So you see, when I say chitta, it is mind. When I say chit, it is consciousness. See that? So we have to go and understand each and every word. Then we say nirodha. So word nirodha also means control and suppression. And word nirodha means also blocking. Don't allow anything foreign to enter into. That is also blocking. Yogaschat, and then comes the vritti. Now the vritti has multiple meaning. It means modifications, it means thoughts, it means feelings. It also means anxiety. It also means peace. If there is no modification of peace is there in the mind, I do not experience peace. So why I took the deviation? To make us understand that these words have to be properly understood. So what happens in other texts, the chitta is explained in detail. Why? Because the master received the disciple who is a seeker, an intense seeker. He wants to know, or she wants to know in detail. But when we write the sutra, Well, it is compressed. It is zipped file. Come back to the sutra. Abhyasa. So what he says, 3 factors are mandatory in Abhyasa. What are the 3 factors? Long period of time. Why? One master has quantified how much time. I'm not going there. I will come later. So first is longer period, second is regularity, third is by commitment, sincerity. Three points are there in the practice. I should continue the practice. The way I eat my food, the way I go to restroom, the way I do my daily chores, I have to continue the practice. I have to find the time. No excuse. Second is regularity. Did you understand the difference between the long period of time and regularity? I have been doing the practice for 10 years. How many times I practiced in 10 years? 5 times. So that gives us the continuity. You see that? Regularity, continuity. And third, you have to add a spice into longer period of time and regularity. What is that spice? Sincerity, devotion. Then only the practice succeeds. Now you see, find out your weaknesses. Are you following the practice with these 3 factors? Now today, I woke up late, so I have lot of things to do. What about the practice? Include the practice also. Why you did not include the practice? No, it's not important. So are you committed? No, you are not committed. How will you succeed? How will you succeed? Do you see that? I don't question my mind. That is causing me lot of stress based on these Yoga Sutras. That is why I do not succeed. 3 points. Long period of time, regularity and commitment or sincerity. You see that? Now ask yourself why Patanjali says long period. Why he is emphasizing the continuity. Many people say that they have been doing the practice, I told you 10 years, 15 years. How many times you have done? 5 times. Is that a practice? The long practice will not yield any result if it is not continuous. Now, add the 2, understand the 2, continuity and long period. Every single day break in practice, the mind will return to the same old habit. The moment you break, one day there is no continuity. The mind will return to the old habit of likes and dislikes, pain and the pleasure. The long period of the practice and continuity does not mean that the seeker leaves other works and duties of the life. Eastern wisdom never guides the seeker to leave all the works of the life and devote only to the practice of yoga, which is not possible. Definitely which is not possible. So continuity is very important in the journey of yoga. Why? Example, take the example of your patio and the front yard. The weeds continue to grow. You need to trim them. Until you will realize. There are 2 points, pressure, resources. So when I start the practice, the pressure of the old habit of the mind is more and the resource is less. I have to increase the resources in the mind by regular practice, longer period of time with dedication and commitment. Once the resources goes up and the pressure of the mind is less, with a very warning I am saying, that even if you don't practice for 10 days, you live into that state of the mind, which is peace and calm. You are not doing the practice, but every day in the morning, the mind says, come on, darling, you are already in peace and happiness. Why I said warning? We have to reach to the ultimate goal. You have to reach. Our ultimate goal is the self-discovery. Did you get it? Third point, sincerity. Now I am again cross-referencing. Sincerity has 4 factors. You pick up any word in yoga and then you try to understand until the ignorance is removed completely. So sincerity has 4 factors. Practice respectfully. You love to do the practice. You respect it. Constant awareness of the real self. Practice with wisdom, with understanding, and with faith. So faith, wisdom, constant awareness of the real self, and respectfully. Now, let us open it. Where is the meaning of practicing respectfully? Practicing respectfully means the mind should live in a state of cheerfulness and tolerating pain or discomfort in the beginning. Leslie, there may be many discomfort and the pain, but I must be cheerful. Cheerful means what? It is a mental state. Come on, just for 1 hour I'll pay you $1,000. The mind instantly becomes cheerful. What is the choice of your fate? I will cook that food. Come on, cheerful. Do you understand that? Now I'm feeling sleepy, I have a lot of problem. Close my eyes and do the meditation practice. It does not bring any result. Why it should bring any result? It should not. Cheerfulness. The seeker keeps constant awareness of the real self and the goal of life. The moment you do any yoga practice, remember the ultimate goal, the ultimate destination. The practice should be done with wisdom. With means understanding. What is that understanding here? Did we get anything from the last 2 sutras? Yatatra sthito yatano abhyasa. Even while speaking, am I aware of the real self? Is there a clarity of understanding that I am evolving by speaking to you? I'm not teaching you. I'm evolving. I maintain that. Do I maintain that awareness? You will see you are always relaxed and comfortable all the time. So, the practice should be done with the wisdom, which means discernment and dispassion. We are going to understand that discernment and this practice should be done with the faith. Faith pending inquiry. It is not blind belief. I think I talked a lot. Hypothesis in science, we say, no blind belief. Belief pending inquiry that there is a real self. Whatever the practices in yoga I am doing to find my real self, you are doing postures and asanas, the time will come, the mind and the intellect will say, no more. This is a preparatory and external yoga. I have done enough. Let me sit and find my real self. So, did you understand the three factors of the practice, abhyasa? What? Sincerity has four factors. I respect the practice. Constant awareness of the real self. Practice with wisdom. Wisdom contains an element of discernment and dispassion. And fourth is the faith. My commitment that I want to free myself from the likes and dislikes, pain and the pleasure, there's duality and a conflict. Even in the practice of asana. So when we go to the subject of asana, so what is the result of asana? Do you remember? Patanjali says, Tato Dvandana Vighata. I become immune to dualities. Dualities of pain and pleasure, heat and cold, likes and dislikes. How? The asanas are related to the mind and emotions. This is what Patanjali teaches. Tato Dvandana Vighata. So that we will take up later. Now see, we understood practice. What is the meaning of the practice? With the three factors. You do only 1 hour of practice today with following these three factors. What is the result? So how do we know the result in Gita? Today we are, maybe this verse may come in from the 2nd chapter. It says, Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyati swalapam asya dharmasya trayate mehato bhayat. So when I am doing the practice, keeping all these elements as explained by Patanjali, what Krishna says, no effort is lost on this path. No obstacle prevails. Even a little of this practice. So I am translating this. Even 1 hour of this practice, even listening. He talks too much, Let us pick up. I have understood it. It will not work. I have to put my mind with that faith. It is not faith on me. Faith on the knowledge. No effort is lost. I'm repeating again. Neha bhikramanashosti. No obstacle prevails. Even a little. So I translated that little. Even 1 hour of this practice delivers you from great fears and anxiety and distress. That is the journey of yoga. Neha bhikramanashosti. Pratyavayo na vidyati. It is a golden path where anxiety, suffering, pain in life ends ultimately. Leslie returned again. Yes. As we experience a cool breeze when we are approaching the ocean, the same way a single step correctly understood points to the abundance of peace and happiness. So you see that this effort, abhyasa also means an effort. That effort has to be a personal effort. Now I'm giving you another understanding that is also very important. So simple to say, a personal effort from below means I'm evolving. I'm evolving from lower to the higher consciousness in the journey of yoga. Right? And then what happens when the personal effort reaches to a saturation point? The grace descends from above. Grace descends from the highest consciousness, which is known as a blessing, which is also known as a blessing from the Master, from the existence, from the Ganesha. Kate has, what the Indians will do, she brought Ganesha here. Keep a smile on the face. See that? So this is what every master explains. Patanjali explains in the 4th chapter, personal effort from below. So how long I have to continue the practice? Until I find now personal effort has reached to a saturation point. How do I know it? There is a grace descends from above. What is that grace in terms of the peace and happiness, love and wisdom? We are happy. I have done 5 times practice. Nothing happens. I leave, you leave me. There is no problem. Understand that. Because people do not understand the very essence of the practice. Krishna says again, among thousands of men, one here, men means men and women, one here, and they strive after perfection. And of those who strive and attain perfection, only one here and there knows the real self. Otherwise they miss it. So then they say, okay, I know there is something real self. What is perfection? That is what? By regular practice, Lara, you reach to a saturation point. You have reached to the state of perfection by your effort. Then you need not to do anything. And the blessing and the grace descends into your knowledge, into your mind. That gives the knowledge and experience of the real self. So we are not asking the perfection in a scientific term. Perfection is an ideal. There is another meaning. Yes, mind is stimulated. My master used to say, is there a perfection by the mind? Can there be a perfection by the mind? No. Mind by itself is limited. So whatever is limited, you cannot have a perfect. But you can keep the ideal of perfection in your mind. Why? To inspire your mind, to motivate your mind, to keep yourself cheerful, to allow the mind to transcend itself. And the moment you transcend itself, and the one day you say, now I am not Girish, I am not this body, I am not this mind. Who am I? I am real self. Perfection. Perfection. Practice. Yoga journey is not for those who eat a lot. Now, how I can attain? Leslie, I'm taking up your issue. Now, it has just come up. Not why your issue, it's an issue for everyone. One cannot become a seeker if we live unorganized life. Now see, if I live an organized life, it helps me in my personal, professional and social life also. The same way it helps me in my yoga life. I have promised myself I'll be practicing meditation daily at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I'm spending watching a horror movie until 1 a.m. at night. Unorganized life. It will not work. I have to become aware. Oh, you mean to say I should not enjoy watching the movie? Did I say that? I only said, yes, Lara says, who determines, what she says, who determines what is organized and what is unorganized? Yes, I will refer Again the Gita. So what he says, first thing, one cannot become a seeker if we live unorganized life. So Krishna says couple of points. Nashyanastastu yogo thi. So what he says, yoga journey is not for those who eat a lot, not for those who starve themselves, not for those who oversleep, not for those who are always awake. So here he gives a reference of what is unorganized life. Now come to what is organized. How to determine? Yuktahara viharasya. Beautiful verse. Now let me put it. Yuktahara viharasya. Who can become a seeker, or what is the parameter of organized life? Yes, Lara is asking. So this is the answer. What is the answer? Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmashu yukta swapna avabodhasya yoga bhavati dukkha. And then I will reverse it. I will go against what causes the unorganized life. And here, what is saying? Yukta ahara. So can I use the word in English? Yoga is for those one who moderately eats, makes a moderation of effort, free from excesses. It is for the one who is devoted to his duties. That's a long topic. I will take up later. Duty and responsibility. I have to be very clear about the duty and responsibilities. Did I tell you that every word has, it takes you to a different clarity of the principle. Duty ought to be done. What is my duty and responsibility? And all of you, to pay taxes in time. If you pay taxes in time, are you rewarded? No. But if you don't pay it, you are punished. IRS will chase you. So like this, I have to see what exactly is duty. Duty in yoga means a work that you are doing free from ego, one. Second is free from the desire for the fruits of an action. It needs to be done. I gave an example. If you pay the bill, if you pay the taxes, you don't get any reward. That is duty. But if you don't pay it, so if you don't perform the duty, just for 2-3 hours, I am a teacher, so I have to play a role of my teacher. As long as I'm talking to you, and I come on and we join, and half an hour I waste in gossip, that is not duty. No. So I must be aware of my duty. So what is there? Balance in eating, balance in effort, balance in sleep. You see that, moderate in sleep and vigilance. The life of such a yogi is devoid of all kinds of miseries. Yoga destroys all the sorrow for him in home, the sleep and the waking, the food and the play. The work, putting forth of effort in works are all balanced. Did you get the essence of what is the organized life? But still I feel the stress. I have to work again. I have to be vigilant. I have to find out how my life, 24 hours of life, is causing me anxiety and stress. And you will be able to find out, and you will be able to organize. The message by the Krishna is clear, my friends. We should live a life of moderation and acceptable mode in food, sleep, rest, and action. I'm not saying what you should eat. Do you understand? See that there is a total freedom. How many hours you sleep, how many hours you take rest and action. The seeker knows his limits and avoids the excesses of everything in daily life. when you avoid those excesses in everything, in your daily activities, life is normally organized. Now, I think you study Hatha Yoga text. Hatha Yoga, Pradipika and Gheranda Samhita. Gheranda Samhita and Hatha Yoga, we miss the first 10 verses. And the Hatha Yoga becomes Hot Yoga, Hatha Yoga becomes Vinyas Yoga, Hatha Yoga becomes Hot Yoga. There is going to be Cold Yoga because we missed the first 10, 15 verses. I'm writing that book in question and answer on Hatha Yoga Pradipika and Gheranda Samhita. So in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, there is a 15th verse. Atyahara prayasascha prajalapo niyamagraha. Lara, you asked me a right question. Now, what Hatha Yoga Pradipika says when the life is unorganized and disorganized? This is what he says. Now you see the understanding of the author or the yoga master of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and our great master Krishna. Atyahara prayasascha prajalapo niyamagraha janasanghascha lolyam cha sharibhir yogo vinashyati. There are 6 things that destroys yoga. Simple. You are doing meditation, but you keep these 6 things, it will destroy yoga. Do whatever you want to do. It will not work. Then you will blame. Atyahara, overeating. Prayasascha, over physical exertion. Prajalapo, being too much talkative like me. Now, if you talk sense, that will make a difference, But, I want to relax, come on. And we enter into gossip. Not allowed. Gossip is not allowed. Gossip means I ask my mind to wander. What a beautiful cat you have. I've seen a couple of cats in a place. Ah, yes, Brandy and this. Oh, beautiful. Oh, last year I had a cat, but I had to leave. Violent. You see? The chain of the thoughts. Oh, no. No, Kate has, Lara has a beautiful white cat. I like white color. You see? Gossip. Being too much talkative. Binding oneself with too many rules and regulations. What Hatha Yoga Pradipika says. Atyahara prayasascha prajalapo niyamagraha. I must practice meditation at 6 a.m. come what may, even if I sleep at 1 a.m. in the midnight. But I woke up at 7 a.m. So, okay, let me leave meditation practice today because I promised myself that I had to practice at 6. Now it is 7. It will take me 1 more hour to prepare myself. So I bind myself with so much of strict rules and regulation that needs to be understood and dropped. Whether I wake up at 7 or 6, even if I have promised at 6, I must practice. This is what is the meaning, niyama graha. So 4 things. Atyahara prayasascha prajalapo niyama graha janasanghascha. It says I should keep the right company of the people who gives me, who instantly inspires me. Come on, did you not do the practice of meditation? No, you have to do it. Why you didn't do it? Who cares? You have not done today. It's okay. I should keep the right company. It does not mean if my honey says no, then I should leave the honey. Do not misunderstand. So, janasanghasya lolyam cha, and the mind is constantly wandering, and that is unorganized life, according to you. So you see, both are clear. How you organize, Krishna says, these are the factors you have to organize. What are the factors that makes you totally disorganized in your life? Clear? Understood? Any doubt? I don't doubt on the principles or the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. I doubt my own mind. Why you are not listening? And so did we understand the first practice has two components. One component is practice, so-called abhyasa, and the second is dispassion. So, you know donkeys? Huh? You know donkeys? Keep a smile on the face, I'm not saying anything that I'm going to send the donkeys to your home. I don't want to use the other word which is very famous in America, ass. So donkeys is better. So in India we used to have a washerman. I'm explaining you what exactly is dispassion. And you have to keep this story in your head all the time. The moment you have anxiety, think of the story. And you will be out of this. You will be out of the problem. You will be in the state of dispassion. Are you ready to listen? So, washerman. In India, we used to have, they used to wash clothes, Here we have laundries, machine. We put the coin or if we have laundry in our home. So in ancient India, washerman used to collect dirty clothes from neighborhood, and they used to put on donkeys, and the donkeys used to take those clothes near the river, and from morning until evening, that washerman used to wash the clothes in the river. They used to dry up and again put it on the donkeys and return to their home. Got it? First point. This washerman had 5 donkeys. So every time he used to load all the clothes, approach the river, and he used to tie those donkeys with a rope on a tree. Otherwise, our mind is much more wandering than these donkeys. Anyhow. So, and we know our life is not organized. When the life is not organized, then we pick up one particular habit that is very dangerous to us. That is very harmful in our life. You have to pick up 1 or 2 habits that makes your mind constant in conflict and reaction. So washerman had also one habit of drinking. So while returning, he used to go to hard drink shop. There the villagers used to make a local wine or local drink. So washerman returned home and his wife started fighting. Every day you come with the drinking, and he was very much upset. Anyhow, he woke up in the morning with lot of hangovers, collected the clothes, 5 donkeys, reached to the river, and he started tying every donkey with a tree. 1, 2, 3, 4. My goodness, because of hangover, I forgot the 5th rope. What should I do? This donkey will run away. Are you listening the story? I'm talking of dispassion. So he was very upset. A monk was passing by. monk saw the washerman very upset, not washing the clothes in the river, and he asked what happened. I forget the rope to tie the fifth donkey with the tree. What should I do? Monk said, no worries. I will solve your problem. So he said, just come with me under a tree. So when they both were under a tree, the fifth donkey was looking at both of them. So the wise man pretended that he is tying this fifth donkey. He is pretending. There is no rope. He was pretending. And he was pretending. He tied and he said, done. This will not work. Forget about it. You just go wash your clothes. So after 1 hour, he saw the donkey is staying there. He is not moving. He only pretended. So everything happened. He washed his clothes, loaded all the clothes on the 5 donkeys, and he untied the rope from the 4 donkeys. And he asked all the donkeys to move. 5th donkey did not move. Fifth donkey did not move, and he was upset again. Why is not moving? Luckily, the monk was there, and the monk saw the problem. What did you untie? No, but there is no rope. He is not tied. But you pretended to tie that 5th donkey with a tree. Now you have also to pretend to untie. And the washerman untied, pretended. Donkey was ready and moved to the home. Our mind pretends that we are tied to so many things, and that is causing the problem. That is what is known as delusion, Leslie. You, me, and all are the same. Our essential nature is full of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. The mind pretends to tie, causing the problem. The same mind, by the yoga, have to untie, and you are free. You pretend to tie, you are in passion. You pretend to untie, you are in dispassion. Did you get the essence of what exactly is dispassion? Essence. That passion is in the mind. This passion is also there in the mind. You have to tie, pretend, untie, pretend, tie. Problem is, we pretend to tie, which we claim is the reality. We pretend to untie, which we see is unreal. And then we struggle. What is this passion and dispassion and reaction and anxiety? Means neutral, means indifference. Forget the rest. Are you getting it? How it will happen? You have heard the story and you will forget the story next hour. Why you forget the story next hour? Because mind says, now don't think that I'm pretending. It is real. It is real. It is real. That is why I'm suffering. That is why I'm biting the nails. I'm sorry, I'll point out something, so don't mind it. Do you see that? Can you ask your mind anytime you have anxiety, duality, conflict? Come on, mind. Untie. The way you have tied, this passion is here and now. Here and now. Do you need to do anything? No. Drashta anushravik vishaya vitrashnasya vashikara sangya vairagyam. Now come to the sutra. Dispassion, vairagya or dispassion is a consciousness of mastery achieved by dropping and dissolving the desires of objects seen or heard. Now, it is the same story that is converted into a principle. Dispassion is not an act, it is a knowledge in the mind. Oh, pretending. Tie, untie. And you are done. You are happy, you are cheerful all the time. Dispassion is the consciousness of mastery achieved by dropping and dissolving the desires of objects seen or heard. Desires of object. Desires, that object means what? Object may be a person, may be a honey, may be a thing in the world. Desire. Desire means what? What is the meaning of desire? Always remember. Seeking something other than me outside in the world. Seeking something other than me in the world, whether that may be a person, maybe a gadget, maybe a house or anything. Clear? Now add one more thing. Why I am seeking? Because of happiness. So mind is pretending that the happiness is not there. Educate the mind. Happiness is not there, my friends. You are already in depression. You are still smiling. You were waiting for a happiness in that object. The mind was pretending the happiness is there. Now you told the mind the happiness is within. Happiness cannot be outside. Same mind pretended to untie. Once you contemplate and reflect, the first step is listening. Second step is contemplation and reflection. A very strong 7 feet wrestler was outside the home making some noise, and the guy in anxiety and constantly reacting inside the home. Who the hell this guy is making a noise? When he opened the door, he found there is a 7 feet guy. One kick will end his life. Well, how are you, gentleman? I was not talking to you. That is how our mind responds. When you find the person, an event stronger than you, which is realized in the mind, we become very soft. It has nothing to do with the dispassion. Our mind is used to getting lost in the world for pleasure seeking in life. This is what I am explaining. The pleasure is short-lived, experienced in the mind. in the delusion that it lives in objects, people of the world. Are you getting it? Remember, recall the story. Pretending to tie, pretending to untie. It has to happen in the mind. It has nothing to do with outside. Are you getting it? Mind will never dare to be anxious, reactive. And even if it becomes, because of the past impression accumulated there, you are still in the process of learning yoga and practicing yoga, the next moment you will realize and it is gone. You have again the smile on the face. Are you getting it? That is the second element of the practice. If that element is not present in any practice, whether you do asana, pranayama, meditation, nothing will work. So when it does not work for 10, 15, 20, how many years of experience? 20 years. I'm upset. Yes, I'm upset. It will not work. Vairagya is awakening in the mind that pleasure seeking outside is a futile exercise. We identify or define ourselves through our body, feeling, thoughts, worldview, belief, possessions, dreams, desires, social connections with what we perceive. When we manage to withdraw completely from the object, pretending, unpretending, with awareness of who we are, the life has changed. We only experience this original state when we live in the state of dispassion, and in that state of dispassion, a single practice will create a magic. And that magic, you see, you have done a 1 hour of practice of meditation, that will remain with you more than a week or more than weeks together. See that? So you see that I am a seeker. I understand what does it mean by the practice. And now I engage my mind into the practice. The life will change. The mind of a non-seeker is wild, distracted and crazy. Did I answer the question? The mind should be not be wild, should be focused, should not be crazy when I organize my life. I've already explained you. What are the parameters of organization? Masters have already explained. Yuktahara viharasya. Getting it? I'm not pointing many things which I see. Let us build a strong bond first so that you will not be offended. Then I talk about it. You see, we studied the very first sutra. What is that? Shanti mantra. Om sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karva vahe tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvisha vahe. The last phrase. We should not have envy against each other, neither the teacher nor the student at any point of time. Not even a sense of reaction. But in I had a traditional teaching. Master says, get out of my monastery. But I learnt, now I have come closer to Master. That's why he's saying, get out of my monastery. Affection. So what I did, I said, I will go out of your monastery. So go, just outside the gate, I lied down. I slept the whole midnight. Master said, now, there might be a problem. It's too cold. Call him inside. There are no barriers of ego, reaction. Now, our great master, young master Swami Vivekananda, two motives of our action. He says, he explains the same Patanjali Yoga Sutra in a totally different way. I like his explanation. Two motives of our action. What we see ourselves and what is others' experience. Oh, go to that restaurant. That pasta is wonderful. It tastes so good. So Brandy says to me, and that creates an impression in my mind. And other, what I see myself because of likes and dislikes, if I am free from these two, I enter into the state of dispassion. These two forces are throwing the mind. Not, you replace pasta with anything that you like. Smartphone, hero in a movie. Dispassion is the power to instantly recognize these two factors. And becoming aware, peace and happiness is within me. Done. It's instant awareness. So the elements, two elements of the practice according to you, and it is also explained in Gita, same practice, same way. Verses are different, expression are different, but the two elements are already there. Abhyas, Vairagya, Bhyam, Tannirodha. So once we study Gita, you will understand. It is better explanation according to my understanding. So when these two motives of our action are gone, now I take a motive out of necessity, free from the ego, not seeking the pleasure. I am in the state of dispassion. This is what the Patanjali is explaining. In daily life also. Lack of inner happiness avoids dispassion in day-to-day life. So now see, they both, you compare it. Am I happy inside? No. I am happy inside but very disturbed outside. Is it possible? Why I am not happy inside? Because of lack of dispassion. Pretending, again go back. Knowledge, pretend, pretend to tie, pretend to untie. So I am specifically using the word pretending. Why I am using the word pretending? Think of it. That pretending word is delusion. That appears true, but it is not true. Donkey perceived tying the rope which is not there. So, delusion is removed by dispassion. That brings the state of cheerfulness. What is delusion? I am the most unfortunate person in this world. I have a lot of stress. Yes, you are unfortunate. I continue to have suffering in my life. Nobody supported me. You don't see, I carry the burden of my anxiety and reaction for the last 10 years. Continue. That is the way you have to live. It is all delusion. Are you getting it? I always teach that you must get something for your life, not academically, philosophically. That will not help. You change yourself by yoga. You will set an example for others. Simple. starting from your home, then wherever you teach, it will help you. That is more important. Lack of inner happiness and cheerfulness. Seeker knows the desire to be desirelessness is not dispassion. When we misunderstand dispassion, then we want, I should be in the state of desirelessness. The mind continues the same pattern. Mind struggles how to be desireless. You cannot become desireless. Why you cannot become desireless? You have already pretended to tie yourself with so many things. How can you become desireless? So that's a wrong approach. Do you see that? Do you see the point? We are going a little deeper. So whatever you have pretended, you go back again to the same point and pretend that you have untied yourself. You have tied yourself to a guy or a girl with a label of a husband and wife. You pretend it. Where there is no label, untie it, then talk to him and her. Problem is there. Tell me if there is any problem. I did it. It demands an effort, a constant effort. And once I reached to a point, life became very full of cheerfulness. I will not cook this food today. Thank you, that's very good. What you are cooking? So I removed the preference from the food. Life became better. Atyahara prayasasya, that is the way life to be. Dispassion means, what is the dispassion means? That my desire for happiness outside have lost their importance in life. I want a computer to give a lesson, but I have lost the desire for that computer which gives me happiness. Computer cannot give me happiness. Are you understanding? Are you getting it? I am living my life in the same way. There is no extraordinary way of living in yoga. When we say your third eye is open, it does not mean if the third eye is really open. There is a physical third eye. Think of it. If you put the third eye vertically or horizontally, if you put it vertically, what will happen? I see Lara is 10 feet long. And if I put it horizontally, it is not third eye. Third eye is the wisdom. It is the state of dispassion. Knowledge with wisdom. That is the third eye. Don't try to prove scientifically, John. There is no science which says there is a third eye. So don't prove it. You see? We try to overstretch where it need not to be done. Dispassion. You have lost, mind has lost the importance of happiness in the objects outside. Are you understanding? You can ask the question in between. Now this dispassion comes by satsang, only by listening and learning to the teacher, which is known as satsang. You have just heard it. I made a statement. You are motivated. You are inspired. What a good statement this crazy guy has said. Done. No. It comes by satsang, constant learning and listening from the teacher. And Definitely self-study. Satsang is a great method to awaken the mind to a dispassion. Now you see the importance of I stayed with my master for 26 years. I'm stressing it again and again once you are clear about it. Two parts of the practice. One part is the knowledge practice in your head, in your intellect, by which you purify the mind. And the second is the personal effort, which includes your breathing and mantra and etc., etc. Long list. Do you see that? Long list. Did I tell you the story of Bhartrhari? Bhartrhari Nath. I know you are experts in Hatha Yoga. You might have studied Hatha Yoga and Girish Samhita. But you did not find the name of this great master, Bhartrhari. Anyhow, should I tell you the story? Keep a smile on the face. Then only I feel that, that you are ready to listen to the story. Otherwise, you also influence me. So, Bhartrhari was one of the greatest king lived perhaps in the 7th or 8th century. Great king. He became a great master. He is the author of 3 books of 100 verses. One of the 100 verses on dispassion. See? 100 verses on dispassion. So the more and more you study, you contemplate and reflect, you are already there. Why? Pretend. Mind was pretending that you are attached. The mind lost that pretension. But anyhow, the story of Bhartrhari is very interesting. How that king became the master because of his honey. Because of his honey. You can opposite the gender, so the story applies to both gender. So, when he was a king, a monk came to his kingdom because he was very noble, he was taking care of the citizens. That is what the democracy claims. But the fact is something different. It does not mean that I am against democracy. So a monk came to his kingdom and he gave a fruit, apple fruit. He said, this apple fruit contains the secret of 20 years of my austerity. It has a lot of powers. If you eat it, you will live more than 200 years without any sickness or illness. Your wisdom will remain at the highest level. Do you want that apple, Leslie? Ah, yes. Quick fix. Yes. So anyhow, so monk left the kingdom and Bhartrhari. So later on he is known as Bhartrhari Nath. Bhartrhari Nath. So Nath, Sampradaya Nath, Parampara Natha tradition has discovered this Hatha Yoga. So there are 25 or 30 names of great masters. I remember, maybe in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Anyhow, so this Bhartrhari loved his wife so dearly. He gave that fruit to his wife. I think I told you this story before. And the wife gave the story to the stable master, and then that master, the trainer of the horses, loved a pros, and he gave the fruit to the pros. And pros said, my life is so infamous. She returned that fruit to the king, and the king started inquiring. And ultimately he knew, oh, now see the state of dispassion in Bhartrhari. Sometime it takes place naturally. You are not doing yoga. You don't know any principle. That was the first state of Bhartrhari. He didn't know anything. So a curiosity, a question came to his mind that this is the nature of the love outside. Where is the love? What is that love? So I am reproducing what? One of the verse from the Vairagya Shatakam for understanding. Here is the verse. Bhoge roga bhayam kule Chuti bhayam vite nirpalo bhayam. Let me read it. What he says, it is such a beautiful verse. You need not to practice dispassion. It will awaken in you. If you think like this, change your thinking. In any enjoyment, there is the fear of disease. In family reputation, there is a fear of falling. He is explaining his own condition. In wealth, there is a fear of king. So here the king you take, if you accumulate wealth without paying the tax. So that is what he referred. In prestige and pride, there is a fear of misery. Forget about prestige and pride. In power, there is a fear of enemy. In beauty, there is a fear of old age. Isn't it? When if I say what I am teaching is only right, then what happens? There is a fear of learned opponents. In virtue, there is a fear of wicked, vilifying person. In body, there is a fear of death. For human beings, everything in the world is coupled and associated with a fear. Dispassion towards worldly enjoyments alone leads you to the state of fearlessness. How can I earn money? Continue to earn money. In the state of dispassion, where is the problem? Are you getting it? Look at the point of wisdom from this great master. You contemplate and think like this. You start thinking like this, simply. Then in another verse, I'm just putting a translation. I don't exactly remember all the phrases. So in another verse, what he says. It is worth reading again and again. Hope, like a river, with the fantasies as water, agitated by waves of desires, attachment to various objects, pretending, attachments to various objects, serving as prey, abounding in thoughts of greed, like birds, destroying the foes of courage, surrounded by eddies of ignorance, deep and difficult to cross with steep banks of He explained, he gave a simile to every word that we feel inside. Oh, fantasies, hope, hesitation, attachment, greed. Hesitation, reaction. See the beauty of it. So when you reach to the highest state of meditation, then only you can have these similes writing. Are you getting it? Just contemplate and reflect on it. So what happens, my friends? When you reach to that highest state of dispassion, what happens? Patanjali. Don't believe me, Patanjali. You have to believe the Patanjali. The highest state of dispassion leads to highest state of meditation. What does it mean by meditation? You are happy. What do you mean? Not practicing and highest state of dispassion? Now you remember what we say. Mindfulness is effortless, natural. So what the master says, what the Patanjali says, tat param, when you reach to that state of dispassion, vairagya, what happens, my friends? Purush khyatai. Purusha here means real self. Khyatai, realized. Guna. Trashnyam means what? You transcend all the three gunas. When you transcend all the three gunas, Purush Khyate, the real self comes in the front. Means realized. Tatparam. Tatparam means, Tat means the highest. Param means the highest. Purush Khyate, the true self, the real self. What is the goal of yoga? Yogaschitta vritti nirodha, emptying the mind of all its content. And then what is the result? The real self is realized. Do you understand that? When we say mindfulness is effortless, natural, it is not a practice. We always talk. Last year, one Facebook Connect argued with me, and she wrote, mindfulness is an effortless natural practice. Why you give the practice? I said, why you are making such a effort to write to me this sentence? Stop being effortless, you will be in meditation instead of guiding others. A lot of interesting episodes, almost 20, 30, 40 emails comes from different students. Tat param purush khyatai guna vetrashanyam means what? You transcend all the dualities. You need not to do anything. Simply awaken to that knowledge. What knowledge? Pretending, tying and untying. I'm not saying, Patanjali is saying, dispassion is at the peak when there is a knowledge of the self. Now, see the other side of it. You are doing a practice regularly with a continuity, sincerity. Then what happens? The other side is also explained. So you reach to the highest state of meditation, the peace and the happiness manifest itself. What happens? You realize the highest state of dispassion is there. So in both ways it works. Both ways it works. How it works? Patanjali Yoga, Raja Yoga. You have to practice. Jnana Yoga. Knowledge. Eightfold Noble Path of Buddha. First 6 is all about knowledge. Bhogana bhukta vayameva bhukta stapona taptam vayameva tapta kalona yato vayameva yata strashnana jirna vayameva jirna. What a wonderful great master says in the same master. You see? Same master. Who is the master? Bhartrhari, what he says. You have to read it again and again. Every day in the morning, evening, afternoon. Whenever you are in anxiety, stress, duality, conflict, pain and the suffering. What he says. We have not enjoyed the worldly pleasure. but we have been devoured, we have been enjoyed by the pleasure. I like pasta. I like pasta. Mind continuously says it is, it is doing a japa on I like pasta, I like pasta, I like pasta, I like pasta. And then what happens? This is the meaning. Then what happens? I'm watching TV, I like pasta. I'm free, I like pasta. Let us drive. Eat pasta, come back. Now hesitation is gone. So it is not that we are eating pasta. Pasta is eaten by me. We have not eaten pasta, but pasta has eaten me, means my mind. No religion or karma has gone through, but we ourselves have become scorched. Time is not gone, but it is we who are gone. Oh, see, that's lot of time has passed. I have not achieved anything. What to achieve in this world? Calm down. You want to achieve in stress. You are not in the state of dispassion. But it is we are gone. Desire is not reduced in force, though we ourselves are reduced to. We are reduced by our desires for seeking happiness outside. To get rid of that delusion, the dispassion is there. Are you getting
So
it?
I have a question, or
Yes,
possibly a clarification.
Yeah.
So I see John with his dogs, and I just want to eat them up, and it opens my heart, and I feel just open-hearted. So according to this theory, I'm like allowed to feel that, but I'm not allowed, I'm just using that word, to be like, oh my God, I want those dogs, I want those dogs. And then I obsess about it for days about how much I want those dogs. So dispassion isn't complete neutrality about everything.
Misunderstood. That is why I explained in so many ways. I must examine this dog is giving me pleasure. I must examine why and how. Though this pleasure is pretending, is a pretension in my mind that I am getting a pleasure because of the dog, but the reality is not there. Where comes the neutrality? So when I try to practice neutrality, it means the mind has to make an effort. I love dog, neutral. I love dog, neutral. I hate dog, neutral. It will never happen unless my mind is clear. What is that clear? Second point is very important. Leslie, you just said, according to the theory, it is not a theory. It is here and now. You are seeing the dog. You cannot be theory. You cannot be practice. You cannot divide your theory and practice into two. That is the beauty of yoga. In science, we have theory and the practice. Second point, I made it clear. Now go back again. I see the dog. It gives me pleasure. I see the dog. It gives me a reaction and anxiety. Both the cases are there. So do I examine why? How? I don't examine. I take it for granted. And then I say, let me remain neutral. This will never work. This is the concept of the psychology. It has never worked. It is not going to work. It will cause more problem. Now understand. Understand clearly. Yeah. You prompted me to talk in detail. So let us understand that clearly. I see this dog. So that pleasure, so-called, I experience the pleasure and happiness in any object outside in 3 stages. Priya, Mod, Pramod. What is Priya? By seeing, I feel happy. Leslie, by seeing, you say, I am happy. Clear? It is not theory. Get out of that old-fashioned... That is the concept of the science. You have a theory, you have a practice. Why you have a theory? Because that gadget is not inside of you. So you have a theory. And then you translate that into a practice. But are you present with me in theory? And later on you will be present in practice? No, you are here and now with me. So that is the beauty of this journey of yoga and the Eastern wisdom. So first step is, I see I am happy. Clear? Second stage of the mind. Now, because I see this dog, I am happy. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I like this, I like this. Mind is repeating this in the mind at the subconscious level. That is the second stage of the happiness. Because I see the dog that makes me happy, hence I must possess this dog. So mind says, if you possess, second stage. When I possess, I will be happy. It has already started. Now, because my mind...
I'm saying like the open-heartedness and living with that joy and then being able to walk away without...
Tell me what is open-heartedness. Simply using the theoretical world will not work. Here it is working. I see that makes me happy. My mind says I want to possess. That makes me happy. Now see that. Possession. Idea of a possession and a thinking and the thoughts has agitated my mind on one hand inside, and I am expecting happiness by possessing. Take an example of pasta. Coffee. Coffee. Mind is constantly agitated in the morning because if I have a habit of drinking coffee. Tea. So my mind, without even thinking, goes to the kitchen. Now I have everything. I possess the coffee. I make the coffee. So you see that in the second stage it is known as moda. It's a beautiful description and understanding of our own mind. Not theory. It is here and now. So you may have some hesitation in the mind what you are going to do just after this lesson is over. Crazy lesson. So mind is already hesitated to do something. I can bet you. Third stage, what happens when the mind reaches to the highest state of hesitation inside. And I take a cup of tea. That hesitation in the mind, because it sees the happiness in the coffee, is gone. It is not gone because of drinking coffee. It is gone because of I created an hesitation in the mind. That is what modern psychology has reached about fight, flight, and fright reaction. Master of this tradition goes a step further. You are agitated because of coffee. You drank coffee. Hesitation is gone down. Ask yourself, where pleasure came? Where is the pleasure? Is the pleasure in the mind or in the coffee? Tell me. Is the happiness in the dog or in you? You become happy inside you, or the dog sent that happiness in you? Then you became open-hearted? Understanding. So what happened? I experienced the happiness in here. here. What is the conclusion? Happiness is not there outside. First step. Conclusion. Are you clear? Not theory, it is a practice. Happiness is not there outside. In any object. Okay, so you mean to say the happiness is in the mind. Let us examine. There is happiness in the mind. If the happiness is the nature of the mind, then my mood will never be upset, then I will never enter into anxiety, then I will never enter into stress. Sweetness of a sugar will always be there, whether you put it into the candy, in a dessert, in an ice cream. Are you clear? So it means the happiness is also not the nature of the mind. Then from where the happiness comes? Our master says, happiness is you. Happiness is your real nature. You block through your mind by passion, by delusion. So what it means? Now define open-heartedness. Now define neutrality. Did I talk of neutrality in the entire description? You don't need that neutrality. You don't need that. What did I say? Open-hearted, the mind that was agitated, perceiving the happiness in the objects outside, that dropped. And when that drops, the mind is full of cheerfulness and happiness all the time. So what is the meaning?
Girish, is seeing the picture of the dog or the image of the dog, is that based on a past impression? And so that past impression is like the dog brings joy.
Definitely. Two-part. If I have a liking for an object that includes dog, that brings joy, or I have a past impression. Both are working simultaneously. Both are working simultaneously. I have seen the dog, I have a preference of a dog, and my mind has put a particular thought that love animals somewhere maybe 10 years ago, and now I see the dog. I like the dog. I feel the joy in the dog. That is one. Second is, I consciously think and I tie myself. I tie myself to a particular object. Why? My intellect passes on the information. It gives me a joy. Now see the opposite, Leslie and Lara. I know, John, Leslie, Lara. I haven't seen. Kate, do you have a cat? No, thanks. No, thanks to both of them, all of them. Christina, I didn't see the cat in your households. Very good. So we have both the group. Understand here and now, it has nothing to do with theory and practice. You can start living a life of joy from here and now. When you understand this clearly, don't bring in the concept of modern cycle. Why? Because then we will not be able to understand our own principles. Now tell me, I see Lara, Christina, Leslie, John, everyone and Kate. Do I need to make any effort to be neutral? Do I need to open my heart before I see you? Tell me. Do I do it? Do I do it?
I'm going to say, we're not inside. We don't know what you're doing.
Ask yourself, Are you doing the same when you see this weird guy? You are not doing. You are not talking of neutrality. You are not talking of an open heart. So, what yoga guides you? Have a right perception. Now, pay attention. Leslie, you start following these 4 tips from today. Everything is gone from the mind. I see brandy as a brandy. How can I see brandy as a brandy? How can I see John as a John? Tell me. I am aware inside. I don't rely on the mind which has any preference. Brandy, human being. John, human being. Is it difficult to do? Tell me. This is the first. Is it difficult to do? But when the mind passes on some thoughts, Brandy is like this, John is like this. Preference, likes and dislikes, that begins the journey. Lara. So I see Lara is a wonderful human being. John is a wonderful human being. The moment you have a preference in the sense organ supplied by the mind, then you are demanding, now I have already a preference. Now I will be neutral. Neutral? Why you want to be neutral? There is no need. So first knowledge we get from the sense organ. Am I aware? Am I living consciously? First step, right perception. Live into the right perception. That is what brings in. Now second level of right perception. So I have a right knowledge by sense organs. Clear? Second level of knowledge. Right knowledge without sense organ. Lara truly said, we don't know what you are thinking inside. So, definitely. Now I am aware of my feelings. That is a subtle knowledge. So if that subtle feeling is free from seeking any pleasure, happiness outside, remember the story of an ass pretending? I'm pretending that if John comes to my class, I will be happy. Or if John leaves the class, I will be happy. The subtle feeling. So I should have a right knowledge in the mind without sense organ, right? Second level of knowledge. There are 4 texts written on this, how the knowledge takes place in the mind. You tell me, I have not studied all the 3,000 texts. I have studied major 50 texts again and again. And that gives me the whole picture. So there is a specific text in Easternwisdom, how the knowledge takes place. It is because of the knowledge I am in stress. I have it or I don't have it. So the master examines. Now the third level. It is raining outside. I don't see the rain. So I hear the noise. Intellect says this is the first information. And I put the logic. It must be raining. So I get the right knowledge by inference. That is known as in science. The entire science is based on inference, my friend. Entire science. Multiple logic. Entire science is based on this. Third level. Now in order to have a right knowledge, what should I do? I should live at a little higher level of awareness, because it is only the higher level of awareness gives me an ability to think rightly. If I live habitually, then every dog gives me happiness. Or other opposite, every dog gives me pain. But if I live at a higher level of awareness, now I see the dog. Right perception by the sense organ, right perception by without the sense organ, right perception with the inference, where I am now, where I am, where I am. Think of it, where I am. Anything that gives me pleasure outside, only because of delusion. There is no other factor working, and the delusion works the best when we have a lack of awareness of reality. Do you know what is lack of awareness of reality? Patanjali says it is avidya. Now see just the opposite. When you are happy without any object or a person in the world outside, happiness is there. Don't you see that moment is full of dispassion? Dog is there or not, cat is there or not, honey is there or not, you are flying. Have you observed that? It happens to everyone. Now see just the reverse. In one of the teaching, my master used to say that, okay, this dog brings you happiness, right, Leslie? So it means the happiness is there in the dog. Then I must fight with you to get that dog to give me happiness. So every human being on the earth must get this dog to give me happiness. Is it possible? Is it really possible? I must examine. If it is possible, if the dog, if the cat owned by Brandy gives happiness to Brandy, I have to, then I got a formula for happiness. How I will steal that cat to give me happiness. Are we thinking individuals? Why these sutras were written? These sutra was written to think, to clarify. No. Don't ask me to think about my dear dog or cat. That is it. So I have stopped the inquiry. See, Leslie, what the master is saying. I have stopped the inquiry. Let me find out. Let me examine. Let me become aware. And in that field of awareness, the journey begins. First step, you find happiness is not there. It is superimposed. Like the fifth donkey, his mind was superimposed, pretending to tie on the tree. Are you getting it? The last point is also very important. That it means that I should leave my dog. Did I say that? Did I say that? So what happens? Now you have found happiness in you, within you. Now you have a dog. You express that happiness to your dog. You express that happiness to your honey. Otherwise, what happens? First, my honey doesn't love me. I'm just giving an example. Honey, you can add anything. You can replace. So hence, I have some substitution. So that gives me happiness. I feel emptiness and hollowness inside. So in order to fill that hollowness and emptiness, I love the dog or a cat or something else. Ask yourself, open yourself. Find out the real need. That we normally do in a private lesson, but I'm just asking, this is very dear. This session is also very dear to me because of Lara. And just ask yourself, why my mind leaves one object where I was expecting happiness because I did not get it, so I run after the second object. Why? Because happiness is not there inside. There's a hollowness. I have an expectation of the happiness. And in that expectation, the world comes neutrality. Because of that happiness. Because of that hollowness. Are you getting it? Is everyone getting it? Think of it. In that hollowness, our mind rationalizes. Should I be neutral? Should I not react? Did I say that? I did not say that. I did not say that. Recognize, respect, and accept what is happening in the mind inside. I feel hollow, empty, lonely. So, in order to fill that, I am seeking happiness outside. In between, I create a sense of neutrality. If I remain neutral when my honey comes at home, I know that my honey doesn't love me, but still I will keep the neutrality. So that neutrality goes with the resistance and reaction. You are holding yourself. Is that neutral? That is not dispassion. Dispassion keeps the cheerfulness and the smile all the time. Come what may, whatever is happening in the world. How you get it? Satasangatve nissangatvam. Dispassion is a desire management. It is not a desire fulfillment. Last point. It's a desire management. Have you heard the word desire management? No. We heard the word stress management, anxiety management, anger management, honey management. That is neutrality. Honey management is neutrality. Do you see that? See the truth here and now. Your mind is doing a desire management. What is that desire management, my friend? My mind is expecting a pleasure and happiness, something from outside. I manage desire. How? By telling to the mind here and now the pleasure is not there. How do you find? Where do you find? I maintain my awareness. The moment I raise my awareness, I see the truth of it, that the pleasure is not there outside. What happens? Pleasure is not there outside. Why I am searching? Oh, I was feeling so lonely. That is why I was expecting. No neutrality. Mind dissolves that. You see that? Mind dissolves. Do you see that? Here and now. Do you see here and now? It's not a theory. So the loneliness, hollowness, and other stuff, reaction, the accumulation of lot of anxiety and the fear corresponds to the expectation and the pleasure that I perceive in the world outside. I need not to maintain, I need not to make an effort to be neutral. No required. It is already dropped. What did I say? Remember again. Show the mind, I am tying you here, remain here. And when the mind is calm, untie. Now mind remains calm. Mind is this donkey, has to be educated. You understand, keep a smile. Don't understand, keep a smile. So I have another opportunity to talk. Yes. Understand it here and now. Not in the future. A bad habit. My master always said, did you understand? Yes, I understood. You have a stress, still I have a stress. You taught me the theory. So he says, get out of it. You are present here and now. You are not in theory. Are you present in theory? Tell me. Are you present in theory? For you, you are working on yourself, so you are present here and now. There is no theory and practice. The very listening should raise your awareness and should change you. What is blocking you? All these crazy thought patterns. Accept the theory and the practice and the science. It is definitely there. When we want to discover, find anything outside in the material world. But you are present here and now. Yoga is working on yourself. Yoga is to study yourself. That is why I say Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge. The way the science is an instrument of knowledge to find the world outside, this yoga is an instrument of knowledge to find yourself here and now. I'm not making you serious. It's a plain fact. Are you here and now with me? No, you are at your home and I am at your home. So you are twisting by your argument. Here and now means what? What did I say? Are we communicating with each other? Are we learning yoga? That is the real meaning. So if the mind twists, no, you are there and I am here, you are beard and I am unbeard, and then you start putting lot of questions, that is not the way of learning. Do you see that? Do you see? I am here and now. I am here and now. Very good. So anything more?